Happy Sugar Life is kind of edgy. I'm sick of using that word because it feels like a crutch, but there's nothing else that can describe this anime so accurately. The show doesn't do anything deeper with its dark elements. They're purely there to be cool. Considering every character in the show is mentally ill, they could have explored a number of interesting subjects. Maybe each character could represent a different illness. Even something as simple as having different characters go around manipulating others in their own manner, that could create a lot of interesting suspense. Instead, we just have a bunch of crazy characters doing random insane things in order to win the captivating lolly. Pink Hair is our main character. Her dark past is that she was raised by her masochistic aunt. The show starts by making us think she kidnapped the lolly, but that's debatable. She did kill a guy so that she would have an apartment to store her hostage, though. She's obsessed with the lolly to the point where spending some time away from her makes her head get all scribbly. This is another thing that I thought they might do something interesting with. I figured they would represent every character's internal troubles with different visuals. Instead, everyone just has a 2-year-old loose in their brain. The lolly is barely a character. She has issues after her mother abandoned her in an alley and loves her pink-haired captor. She goes along with everything Main Girl tells her from the beginning to the very end. Hoodie Boy is the lolly's brother and probably the most believable character. He's just trying to find her so he can raise her. His father beat him and his mother before his mom took the lolly and abandoned the boy with his abusive dad. When his dad died, he went to find them but found out his mom abandoned the lolly in an alley. That's when Pink Hair found her. Blonde Boy was possibly normal until an older woman locked him in a closet and raped him. She also slurped up his chest. He became afraid of older women after the whole closet situation and falls in love with the lolly too. And Blue Hair is Main Girl's coworker slash best friend. She sucks. I'm just going to go through the conflicts of this series because that's the only time when the plot ever moves at all. Whenever there isn't a new crazy person for Pink Hair to deal with, we just get a cute lovey scene followed by a dark squiggly scene. Literally half of the show is just Pink Hair hugging the lolly while random shapes move around the screen, or her saying Happy Sugar Life.
Happy Sugar Life, Happy Sugar Life, Happy Sugar Life.
In the first episode, Pink Hair gets a new job. She pisses off her boss by rejecting Blonde Boy's confession, so boss gives her a ton of extra hours and makes big messes for her to clean up. I know I said it before, but it's honestly cute that this is what Japanese people consider a dirty public bathroom. Anyway, Main Girl gets angry that she isn't getting enough time with her lolly and unleashes her yandere eyes. She puts up with it until her boss doesn't pay her properly. This scene is so damn stupid that I don't see how any of the kids who love this show could be impressed by it. She records her boss saying that she assaulted an underage boy and threatens to show it to the police. That's all that really happens. She releases Blonde Boy from the closet and they move on with their lives. The scene is an entire fourth of the episode and was clearly meant to be the climax of it, but it's so incredibly boring that I just went on my phone the first time I watched it. Not to mention the boss could have smashed the main girl's phone and gotten out of trouble. Oh, but Pink Hair moved away from her, so clearly the older, larger woman couldn't overpower this teenage girl. Well, I guess that makes sense. It is anime, so we don't know which way the door opens. So maybe she couldn't just lean on the door and keep her from opening it. The episode ends with the reveal that Main Girl killed someone to get the apartment and that the lolly is kidnapped. Episode 2, Pink Hair's teacher wants to rape her. He follows her around after work and they try and mislead you by showing that she's also being stalked by one of her customers from the cafe. You'd think that he would be around to witness the teacher following her, or maybe even one of the murders she commits later on, but instead he's just never seen again after this episode. She never kills him or anything, he just disappears because he's no longer needed to try and throw you off. Teacher tries to take her somewhere, but gets thwarted by her lolly alarm and decides to leave. In order to get him to back off, she goes to his house and opens her shirt. She holds her alarm like her pulling it is going to reveal to his wife that he's cheating on her. He goes along with it too, but that's stupid. He's behind a gate, so it's not like he ripped her shirt open. The wife should be able to see that he couldn't have touched her from here. Maybe she would have just told his wife that he's cheating with her. But then why was the alarm necessary? She threatens him and gets him to throw away some body parts she had sitting around in her apartment. He realizes what's in the bag and gets even more turned on by her for some reason. The next episode introduces Hoodie Boy by having him get beat up by these two non-intimidating playboys. Blondie takes him back to the break room in their cafe, and Main Girl realizes that Hoodie Boy is the only person looking for her lolly, so she almost kills him with a crowbar. Luckily for her, she decides not to murder him in a way that would obviously get her arrested. Unluckily for her, the lolly gets worried about where the main girl is and decides to leave the apartment. Blonde Boy finds and immediately falls in love with the lolly. He's about to take her away somewhere, but then she's valiantly saved by the two guys from earlier. They realize that the lolly is who Hoodie Boy was looking for, and think about calling him so that they can beat him up some more. These two seriously just hang out in this park so they can beat people up? They don't even look like punks or anything. Main Girl shows up and murders them. Then she takes her lolly home and adds a lock to the outside of the apartment to keep her from leaving ever again. It's important to the story that she didn't notice Blonde Boy was in the park too, even though he should have been in clear sight from where she murdered these two. Later, the lolly tells Main Girl she talked to Blonde Boy that night, so she starts plotting to murder him. Best Friend and Main Girl have a heart-to-heart, and Main Girl asks Blue Hair to go to her place. When they get there, the cops are outside because her teacher called them to investigate her apartment. He acknowledges the fact that he could get arrested, and he didn't even do it to screw with her. It was just because we needed something suspenseful to happen. He's also getting off in the corner because he's so crazy. Pink Hair was 2 steps ahead like always though, and this is actually her aunt's apartment, so they don't find anything. Auntie tries to rape one of the officers and everybody leaves. Blue Hair actually doesn't want to be friends with the main girl anymore after finding out she has a crazy aunt, so now the relationship is strained. Finally, we get to see whose apartment Main Girl is living in. She was modeling for an artist, and over time he fell in love with her empty expression. One day she burst in carrying the lolly, and he hated that her dead eyes were gone. So he tried to kill the lolly, but Pink Hair kills him with his easel. Pink Hair gets Blonde to divert the lolly's brother, but he sees through it, and this is where everything starts to go wrong for Main Girl. Brother and Blue Hair start working together, and the next day she takes a photo of the lolly and Main Girl hugging outside their apartment. That was the biggest coincidence I've ever seen, considering this apartment is 9 floors above where Blue Hair thinks Main Girl lives. And was she just sitting there all day? They show this one frame later on that suggests her aunt told Blue Hair where Main Girl's apartment was, so maybe that's it. Except that leaves out the fact that you have to give the aunt a signal, or else she won't open the door. Because the specifics of the story matter so little, they literally skip all of the dialogue between these two as they argue their ideals. In the manga, they have a page where they show everything they said to each other, but they just leave that out of the show. Main Girl kills Blue Hair, but not before she was able to send the picture to the lolly's brother. Damn, if she had geotags on, then the show might have ended right there. I have to stop for a moment to talk about just how garbage the best friend is. First, she wouldn't stop bugging her friend to share her secret, to the point where she was going to stop being her friend over it. Then when Main Girl actually shares a secret with her, she decides that she doesn't care about being her friend. Pink Hair doesn't even reveal that she was a murderer, just that she had a crazy aunt. Then she betrays Pink Hair because she fell in love with the local homeless boy that she's only met 4 times. Was the betrayal the right thing to do? Definitely, but she should have at least felt a little bit of hesitation in ruining her best friend's life. She just took the picture and immediately sent it though. We get the rest of the lolly's backstory here and see that her mother abandoned her because she was starting to abuse her. I'm not gonna pretend I know anything about Japanese law, but I'm pretty sure that means Pink Hair wasn't breaking the law by taking care of her lolly. Back in real time, Pink Hair tells her lolly that she's a murderer and they decide to leave the city. Hoodie Boy lures Blonde out at night and knocks him out. Presumably, he then waits around for a couple hours until Blonde wakes up. He threatens Blonde into helping him find Pink Hair's address so he can take his sister back. But he just lets Blonde leave, so of course he isn't going to share the address once he gets it. Blonde Boy finds Pink Hair's documents at work and goes to the address listed on it. Too bad for him, he ends up in Auntie's apartment, and ends up being tied up by another MILF. Main Girl and her aunt get supplies to burn the apartment complex down so that they can dispose of the dead body and to make people think Pink Hair is dead. Hoodie Boy finds out what apartment Pink Hair lives in and heads there, but the aunt already set it on fire. Main Girl and the lolly would have left town, but Pinky forgot her $10 wedding ring, so they went back to get it. They run into Brother as they're leaving and they fight. He never really hits Pink Hair, but some glass next to her explodes outwards and cuts her leg. Not sure how that happened. They run to the roof and the brother gets trapped. Don't worry, he still lives somehow. Pink Hair and the lolly jump off the roof and Pink Hair dies. The ending shows the aunt getting arrested for arson, the teacher getting arrested for some reason, and Hoodie Boy brings flowers to his sister, but it's too late. Now she is the happy sugar life.
ハッピーシュガーライフ
One positive is the animation. There were more memorable good shots than bad ones. They don't overuse their wide-angle shots, and only one of them looks bad. Other than some wasted potential, I'd say that the animation is pretty consistent overall. It definitely has the best animation out of all the shows I've talked about. The intro song is pretty good too, but that's about it. If you're into yanderes, or your dream is to have your own lolly to take care of, then you may enjoy this. If you want a wacky show where lots of crazy stuff happens, then you probably won't, because most of the show is really boring. However, if you haven't watched much anime, and this is one of your first dark shows, then you'll probably get a kick out of it. For everyone else, I wouldn't recommend it at all. In the manga, they literally have a fuck. The episode ends with the reveal that Main Girl, but she should have at least felt a little bit of fucking hesitation.